Questions for KP? Hold on, let me get this concluded. All right, go ahead.
Kelsey, tough loss tonight. Can you talk about the mental grind that your team needs to prepare for this second half of the season?
Yeah, I think there's a point every season where it's definitely becomes mental more than anything. Obviously, people have had a month off, and 6 of us haven't. So that's definitely a unique situation, but it's not an excuse. I mean, you gotta give credit to them. They shot 60% from the field, and yeah, it's tough. It felt nasty tonight. It's so interesting to me, like, I'm probably gonna get fined, but at this point, it's hard because it's just, I don't feel it's consistent. I don't feel it's consistent the way that they call the games. I don't feel it's consistent. And you know what? They made us pay, so it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. They were better than us tonight. And when I say consistent, I'm talking about the officiating. This week.
That's fine.
It's okay.
Kelsey, talk about some of the specific challenges you guys faced from a defensive standpoint against this team tonight. Obviously, with the backdoor cuts down on the baseline and some of the options and the ways they were able to score offensively. Just some of your thoughts as far as what they really presented to you from a defensive standpoint.
Yeah, they moved the ball extremely well. First in the league in assists per game. They had 28 tonight. I think they averaged like 24, 25. They kind of got whatever they wanted. And it's tough too because it's like, okay, like you're trying to play physical, but when I say like the officiating doesn't let you do that, it puts you in a tough predicament because now you're letting them go freedom of movement. And they've shown all year that they're the best in freedom of movement. You know what I'm saying? So it's tough, but listen, at the end of the day, like we have to adjust, we have to adapt. And like I said, they made us pay on everything. Threes in the paint, transition. We didn't really take away anything that they do well. So fortunately, we get another opportunity to play them again. So we're gonna have to do some major adjustments.
Kelsey, just by the way the game was going early on, I know they scored 26 in the first quarter, you ladies scored 25.
Yeah.
Could you tell, but just by the flow of the game, that it was going to be one of those where you needed to score a lot of points in order to beat them tonight?
Well, I think coach is always talking about like defensively, holding people under a certain amount in like quarter by quarter. So we didn't do that, and I was frustrated with myself. Just I don't think I was physical enough early, and kind of they got into a rhythm, and then of course as a team, just because maybe they hit a couple, we have to stay disciplined to the scheme of what we're doing. Because over the course of the, so I think a lot of times we might have gotten away from the actual scheme just because, you're frustrated. Someone makes a shot on you, you want to try to adjust, but, the coaches have schemes for a reason. So, like I said, credit to them, they shot 60%. It's really hard to win a game when the other team shoots 60%.
Kelsey, one of the top teams in the league, you guys played today. Do you feel any motivation for Friday when you face them again?
Hi, how are you? What's your name?
Juan.
Juan? I think that, it's do or die time. So, absolutely.
Coach, just talk about the importance of Courtney Williams is to this team. How tough it is to defend her. She kind of had her way, that 15-foot jumper. How tough is it to defend her, and how special does she add to this Minnesota team?
It's tough. You gotta give Courtney a lot of credit. Throughout her, I'm a big Courtney Williams fan. I've watched her entire career, and she's just been able to really adapt tremendously to, whatever system she's in, and obviously she's playing the highest level of basketball right now. Just, she cooked me tonight. There's really not much to say. Especially too, she's coming off mid-range jumpers. There was times I'm going over, I'm going under. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be physical. I was trying, and you know she had it tonight, and you know there's when you get your ass kicked, you gotta give the other people credit. You good?
All right, thank you very
Thanks.
much, guys.
Thank you.
All right, questions for Coach? Raise your hand, wait for the microphone.
Earlier this season, when the team was struggling, you talked about how they just need to not dig themselves into a hole that they can't get out of. When you said that, were you talking about playoff standings or morale, and how do you feel about your team in relation to that statement now?
I mean, hole, wherever, I don't really care where we are. If we're in a hole on the top of a mountain, I don't care, you need to play some defense. So until we do that, we might as well be digging a hole.
Someone who can provide a defensive spark we've seen is like a Sydney Colson, or you did kind of praise Kate Martin for that. Sydney Colson didn't get into the game until late in the third quarter, and she knocks to a steal like less than a minute. And why not set her in earlier, or maybe go deeper in your bench when you saw the defensive effort lacking?
Well, I'm not gonna call anybody out, but some of our big studs were not guarding tonight. So it wasn't necessarily, you know, we live with long twos. Courtney Williams got hot. It was all the other mistakes, not necessarily by our guards. So it's too bad because we got some good production off of Tiff and AC. You know, but it's anytime a team shoots 60% from the floor and basically 60% from three, that's just a losing anecdote. And until we get our defensive identity and we like stick to it, we're going to continue to struggle. But we made so many mistakes, and it was my big dogs making mistakes. It's hard to overcome.
Coach, it seemed like every time the ball got thrown into Asia, about 2-3 are coming at her. How would you try to counteract that when you're going to see that, you know, again, come Friday?
Well, I mean, they're just leaving people. I mean, I think they have a special defense called blue, and they just don't guard people. They just go guard Asia. So the way you counter that, I mean, she got rid of it. She had 6 assists tonight. She played the right way. At a certain point, if you're going to put 2 or 3 people on somebody else has to like make some shots. Again, though, throw out the offense. The offense was not the problem. It was the defense. So, I mean, when you score 87, that's enough points to win a basketball game, but not when you're giving up 100. And it was basically right from the go. We're helping. I mean, oh my God, we're just breaking our own rules constantly. It's just undisciplined. It's just undisciplined. They know what they're supposed to be doing. They have to go out there and execute. It's just undisciplined. And, you know, so you're trying different lineups all the time. But we'll go back and see what we can do better. But that's not a team you can give open shots to. We were unable to close out to the three-point line and then keep them in front. That's it. No, like we could not keep them in front. They got downhill, drive and kick, or they'd set a screen and we wouldn't communicate. 2 people would both run, one would slip. I mean, it was a mess.
You know, you talked about finding your defensive identity and, you know, still trying to build that process going through it. Is it different things every night, every game that is, or is it something consistent that you guys are looking to improve on the defensive end?
I thought we did a really good job the other night against LA. And then completely different now. LA has completely different personnel, and Minnesota has shooters everywhere. So you can't bring as much help and dig and activity that we were against LA, where it kind of looked smothering at times. this team is completely different. You have to be able to guard some one-on-one people, and you have to be able to know what you're living with, which we were okay with long off the dribble twos. Now, Courtney Williams made quite a few of them, but it was the other parts, it was the 10 assists that was really killer, because now she's drawn two, now she's getting everybody else involved. So not only is she knocking down shots, but she's getting wide open ones for everybody else. So those are the ones that really, you know, the wide open shots, the horse shots, those are the ones that drive me crazy.
Becky, obviously we see what the schedule is, right? Matter of 48 hours, you get a chance at them again to take them on. What is the focus in the next 48 hours as far as your team? I understand obviously you have a travel day, but just are there some aspects that you can take a look at before you face them on Friday?
Yeah, of course we're gonna take a look at it. We're gonna take a look at it, make our adjustments, see if we can't make some things cleaner for them, so there's not so much confusion in between. I thought we had a pretty clean game plan going into it, but it looked like a mess, so we'll go back to the drawing board and see if we can't clean some things up. But rest is probably the main thing.
Questions from Jack?
I doubt that you can leave.
Thank you, Jack.
Jackie, Kelsey talked about the challenges that you guys face in the backcourt, obviously with Courtney, and the way that they were playing from an offensive standpoint. Just some of your views and your takeaways from tonight's matchup, particularly for you guys defensively.
Yeah, I think we just have to do a better job of executing the game plan and not making as many mistakes. I think just being aggressive, you know, defensive end, so that we can get going and transition. But yeah, the biggest thing is just locking in and executing the defensive scheme.
Anyone else?
Obviously, other players have gotten a break. KP kind of talked about that. Like, not having rest is tough. Is that something that is discussed in the locker room? Like, what is the morale, if you could just describe discussions between the team at this point and trying to encourage each other to get through the season?
Some of us didn't get rest, but for a great reason, you know, and so we just have to try to, you know, make the most of our time, you know, getting as much treatment as we can and just trying to, you know, lock in and be present whenever we're on the court and just fight through whatever we're feeling, you know, being a little bit tired, jet lag, whatever that might be, you know, and so, we're gold medalists, so can't really complain about that, but, you know, we have a whole second half of the season, so being able to just lock in and get back to playing aces basketball and just kind of try to put that being tired feeling, you know, in the back of your head and just going out there and try to get the job done.
All right, thanks, Jack.
Thank you.